to welcome all of you to this session. His Excellency Mr. Sanjeev Ranjan, India's ambassador to Colombia and Ecuador. His Excellency Mr. Subarayudu, ambassador to Peru and Bolivia. Excellency Ms. Madhu Sethi, ambassador to Cuba and Dominican Republic and Haiti. Mr. Suresh Kumar, Joint Secretary, Department of Commerce. Mr. Carlos Esaks, Director, Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Chile. Other distinguished speakers and fellow distinguished delegates. It's a great pleasure to welcome all of you to this session on cooperation between India and Latin America in the field of information technology. Latin America is always a country we want to do more trade with, but it is the distance which normally comes in the way. But fortunately, software and IT services is one area where distance really does not matter. Indian IT industry actually has been very US centric all these years. It still is. We do about 60% of our software exports goes to the US and about 17% goes to UK. And the rest of the world is a lower percentage, which we want to change. Actually, IT is a meta resource. It helps other industries to be more competitive, more productive, and therefore it's a very vital input for making your industries and your businesses successful. And it's no wonder that Fortune 500 companies, all of them use Indian IT, and the global 2000 companies also use Indian IT. And it is our very sincere desire to increase our business in software and IT services with Latin America. Over the years, India has become moving up the value chain. We are doing a lot more products and solutions. And the COVID has actually accelerated that process. We saw in India, I just want to share an example with you. During COVID times, there was a need for a safety app, which our Ministry for Electronics and Information Technology wanted developed. And during the lockdown period, a startup in India with 15 people working from homes, they developed this solution called Arogya Setu, which is very popular in India. It tells citizens about safe distancing, staying away from contamination zones, and it really helped in keeping the COVID contained as an IT app. And this was done in a 3 weeks period during lockdown from people working from homes. So that's the kind of talent pool which is available. Indians are also very well versed with several languages. So in India, typically English software would also be available in very different languages, which are like Gujarati or Marathi, or we have so many languages in our country. So we did some work. Indian industry has been doing work in German language, in Japanese language, also in Spanish language. So we need to work together to provide solutions for your industries, for your businesses. And I also find I had the privilege of visiting Brazil and also Costa Rica and Colombia, and I had a good sense of IT industry in these countries, which is also representative of many other Latin American countries. And I also see an opportunity where we can work together for the US market, because you have advantages in terms of being in the same time zone and geographic proximity. So with these few words, I would like to invite you to visit our exhibition, where 150 Indian companies, small and mid-sized companies, are actually exhibiting. Our large companies, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, are quite well known, but we have thousands of small and mid-sized companies, and they have a good strategic fit with your small and mid-sized businesses, where the size of the projects may not be attractive enough for large companies, but these small and mid-sized companies would be good partners to work with companies in Latin America. And with these few words, I would, start the session. We have some outstanding speakers today, and I would request Mr. Sanjeev Ranjan, who's our ambassador to Colombia and Ecuador, to kindly share his views with us.
Good evening to you, Mr. Kohli, and all the participants in India. Un saludo especial a todos los participantes en Latinoamérica. I see many faces which I recognize from my old posting in Argentina. Fabiana is very much there. Thank you very much, ESC, for organizing this very aptly titled session on India LAC IT Connect. Let's grow together. Sitting here in Colombia, we see a growing convergence and a sense that the IT and ITS sector of our two countries, India and Colombia, need to work together to get greater advantages through more engagement. And as you rightly said, Mr. Kohli, the pandemic has very lucidly brought out the utility of the IT sector. We are now not only getting our groceries online, but are witnessing the rapid adaptation to lockdowns in a number of sectors where IT is the go-to tool for overcoming physical restrictions. And as you rightly said, it is a meta resource. Then thus, there is a real opportunity for IT companies to capitalize on these changes through innovation and adaptation. Just as in the health sector, Arogya Setu has been developed, there are many other applications which are now being developed. To give you a concrete example, a trucking app over in Colombia, in a period of about 7 to 8 months, went into a 3-digit percentage growth just because of the need to avoid close contact. Such a massive change in global consumer behavior, a number of which at least I estimate are likely to persist in the future, is not only due to the adaptations resulting from physical restrictions or social restrictions of getting together. The real productivity gains which many companies are now experiencing from the IT tools will down the line encourage further adoption of the IT infrastructure for gaining greater profit. In the government sector, both India and Colombia were a little ahead of the curve, and we recognized in the early 2000s the need for greater cooperation, and a memorandum of understanding was signed in 2002. Our collaboration continues every year. We have Colombian professionals going to India to attend ITech training programs in courses such as big data analytics or audit of e-governance. So on the governmental sector, we have been pushing for greater and greater cooperation, and that is getting manifest in the increasing interest in this country. Obviously, we have a long-standing presence of Indian IT companies. TCS, Wipro, Mahindra, Comviva have been working here for several years. So have several IT professionals in this part of the world. But obviously, much more needs to be done. I take note of the fact that ESC attracts a very sizable presence from Latin America, including from Colombia. You also have your institutional arrangements with your counterparts such as Fedesoft in Colombia. So the institutional wherewithal is in place, and now greater efforts are required to connect and identify opportunities, especially in the small and medium enterprises. What we see in this region is that over the last 3 decades, a diffusion of information and communication technologies have created significant openings. Several countries in the region have invested heavily in the ICT infrastructure and in the development of IT skills. The advantages of relatively competitive labor costs, and as you rightly said, the geographical location where 60% of our exports are destined to in the US is something which our companies need to look at in a more strategic manner. So as a result of both infrastructure, human resource, Many of the countries in the region are considered as strategic locations for offshoring service operations. In Colombia, in particular, we see a vibrant IT sector. The market size is almost $8 billion, led by manufacturing, financial sector, communications, as well as the government. And the government hopes to increase the share of the sector from 3.4% of the GDP, which is the current rate, to almost 6.8% by 2022. Obviously, there would be some slippage in that target. We see also huge innovations taking place in the various areas. For example, Rappi is a very successful delivery app in which SoftBank has made investment in this country. So if you look at the government policy, you look at the innovation, you look at the human resources, it shows a stage of IT development where the greater engagement and presence of Indian IT prowess is very much required. Sectors such as agrotech, fintech, health, logistics, energy, e-commerce are potential areas of engagement. But as I mentioned earlier, when viewing the Colombian market, the aspiration should be to see what advantage you can have by being in the same time zone where customers are located and where you have been working for several years and burning midnight oil in India. I would also like to point out that the market size of these countries sometimes does not lend itself to an obvious set of advantages. For example, the populations of Colombia and Ecuador, the two countries I look after, are about 5 and 2.7 crore respectively. Notwithstanding the small size of the market, the returns and margins from operations in these countries are relatively higher. For example, Colombia is the fourth largest economy as well as the fourth largest IT spender. And we see an increasingly improved security environment, stable macroeconomic parameters, and steady growth. In fact, along with the qualified workforce and access to global markets as a result of several FTAs that Colombia has, as well as regional economic arrangements such as the Pacific Alliance or the Andean Community, creates the conditions for investment and a greater engagement for our IT sector. Obviously, the pandemic has had a very severe effect. The economy declined by almost 7% last year. When we were looking at from 2019, November, December 2019, the pronostics were that the economy will grow by about 3%, a little over 3% in 2020. That obviously did not come true. Now, to grapple with this severe economic contraction, the Colombian government has taken both fiscal and monetary measures, which obviously first was increased healthcare spending, income support, and sectoral stimulus packages. On the monetary side, the interest rate has been kept low, and all these measures now have led financial institutions, global financial institutions, to predict a rebound of almost 5% this year. And obviously the IT sector, whether it is the government, whether it is the private sector, will witness a great increase in investment. And therein lies the rub for our Indian IT companies and Colombian IT companies to work together to provide these tools for enhanced productivity and enhanced gains for the country as a whole. Let me conclude by saying that as countries, societies, and companies continue adapting to this new normal, investment in the IT sector will be of long-standing benefit for the growth of these countries. This profitable opportunities for innovation is ripe for both Colombian and IT companies. I would like to convey my best wishes to all the participants for fruitful and profitable discussions, and I hope all of you who are in the sector can participate in the virtual fair and learn about the IT prowess of India and the startup space in that country. Thank you very much.
Sir, please unmute yourself. You're on mute.
Thank you, Excellency, for your very encouraging remarks. I would just like to share that IT, apart from being a meta resource, is also not a zero-sum game like other industries. So when we create a new app, we are actually creating a new market, which was not there earlier. So we need to understand it like that, and our experience is the small and mid-sized companies need more hand-holding to find a partner in your respective countries. So we look forward to working closely with our missions so that this B2B engagements take place. And we have a huge choice here, 150 companies in all sectors of IT. And I would encourage companies from Latin America to come and visit their booths and then decide whom they want to work with. Because apart from being a software has been an export-led industry in our country. Last year, we did about $143 billion of software export. But now there's a huge market within the country. Like Ambassador mentioned, we are using a lot of IT in the government and also in the private sector. And you would be surprised, there are estimates that our digital economy is going to be more than $1 trillion US dollars by 2025. So that's a huge market, and we are developing applications which can be customized and taken advantage of in your country also. And we look forward to working closely with our friends in Latin America. Thank you, Ambassador. I would now move on to His Excellency Mr. Mandarapu Subarizu, is Ambassador of India to Peru and Bolivia, and we would look forward to hearing his views. Ambassador, over to you.
Thank you, Shri Narendra Kohli. Dear participants, greetings to all of you from the Embassy of India in Lima. The virtual edition of India Soft this year comes at a time when the disrupted industry everywhere is seeking to resurrect operations and business activities through latest technology, innovative solutions, methods, and practices. I join my colleague in complimenting ESC for hosting this session that is dedicated to connecting India with LAC region. IT industry in Peru and Bolivia have shown interest in the past editions of India Soft. In fact, 10 Peruvian companies had visited India to participate in this flagship event in pre-pandemic period. When this embassy, in association with ESC, organized a business session on opportunities in electronics and ICT services in September last year, more than 270 Peruvian and several Indian companies took part in it. Today's session is joined by over 11 business representatives from Peru who are interested in software development, cyber security, AI, IoT, cloud computing, media and entertainment. We also have 19 Bolivian companies with interest in software development, fintech, health tech, and AI with us. It only shows the growing desire to partner with India. Our global capabilities in information technology and high-tech applications, digital technology and tools, knowledge and innovation are known in Latin America. India is also regarded as a trusted provider of efficient solutions, and there is growing desire to partner with Indian IT industry and service providers. However, the field remains open, unexplored by many specialized Indian small players. It calls for greater focus and concerted efforts, as was mentioned earlier. India's major IT companies are already operating in Latin America and are able to offer commendable solutions to several banking, financial, industrial, and service establishments. We have TCS, Tech Mahindra, and Infosys doing their operations in Peru. Besides commercial operations, their contributions to local skill development, employment, corporate social responsibility activities, and tie-ups with local educational institutions have generated a goodwill for India. Probably a large section of small and medium entities is unable to benefit from India's IT capabilities. It is in this space that ESC can play a role by partnering with industry associations and chambers of SMEs and facilitate tie-ups between Indian IT providers and small firms in this part of the world. For example, PMS Peru and Cainco of Bolivia seek IT solutions for their SME member companies. When it comes to Latin America, customization of IT solutions and tools is highly critical to make the services of Indian firms acceptable. The business packages have to be made suitable to local conditions and needs, especially in respect of language, standards, practices, and procedures. Efforts are being made to address challenges on account of mobility, timely work permits and approvals, taxation, and terms of operations. Negotiations with Peru to finalize a trade agreement that covers trade in goods, services, and investment have made considerable progress. This agreement could create a favorable ecosystem for IT industry to operate with less challenges. I noticed that Mr. Gonzalo Landeta, President of the Bolivian Chamber of Information Technologies, CBTI, is with us. I am glad that our efforts have resulted in ESC and CBTI agreeing to come together with a memorandum of cooperation that focuses on trade interaction, advisory services, and information exchanges. This may be a good template worthy of emulation. In conclusion, let me reiterate that there is scope and desire to cooperate, expand, and diversify partnership. I hope that this session and BSMs that follow would enhance understanding on both sides in terms of needs of LAC region and capabilities of Indian IT sector. My thanks to ESC for this opportunity to share a few thoughts and best wishes for productive outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for very useful insights and very sound advice on how to take business further. We find particularly these new markets for Indian software industry, as I mentioned to you, we have been rather US centric, and also there has been a natural tendency to work more in English speaking countries. So as we go to friendly countries where language has to be overcome, and also we have to make new contacts, our missions become very important for us. And it is for this reason, actually this year, for the first time, we have the Secretary of our Department of Commerce, or Secretary of Ministry of Electronics and IT to do our inaugural address at the event. This year we requested the Secretary Economic Relations of our Ministry of External Affairs to deliver the inaugural address. And we realized that there's a need to work closely with the missions to make these bridges and to work together. So thank you so much. I'm so happy 3 of our ambassadors are here in this session, and also our Joint Secretary in charge in Department of Commerce for Latin America. And I'm sure together we will be able to really increase our engagement in IT with Latin America. I now request Excellency Ms. Madhu Sethi. She is our ambassador to Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Haiti, to kindly share her views on how to promote cooperation in IT between India and Latin America. Over to you, Ambassador Sethi.
Thank you, Mr. Nalin Kohli, Mr. Gurmeet Singh, distinguished speakers, industry from India and the LAC region, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Cuba. At the outset, I take this opportunity to congratulate ESC for organizing the B2B event India Soft 2021 with the motto of Meet, Connect, Grow. India Soft initiative of ESC is not new for the industry in the region. The Deputy Minister of Relations, Mr. LAC, had led the Cuban delegation to India Soft event in 2019. This year too, 50 plus Cuban professionals and officials and 10 companies from the Dominican Republic are participating in this event. I'm sure that the visits to soft events in the past must have resulted in many fruitful propositions. Today, the world is in the eye of COVID-19 storm, disrupting lives of individuals as well as of nations. We are all aware of the disruptions the pandemic has caused to the global supply chains. India's Atmanirbhar Abhiyan, that is Self-Reliant India program, intends to enhance the ability of the companies to create world-class products and focuses on electronics, pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, and agriculture sector. The National Policy on Electronics 2019 envisages the electronic manufacturing turnover of USD 400 billion by 2025. Our vision is to manufacture 1 billion mobile phones and 5 million IT devices like laptops and tablets in the next 5 years. According to the latest figures, India has the largest broadband users in the world with close to 7 million connections. There are about 696 million using smartphones, and India has the largest data use per smartphones. And India is the only country in the world with over 1 billion plus biometrics, 1 billion plus mobiles, and 1 billion plus bank accounts. This is termed as JAM Trinity, that is Jan Dhan, which are the bank accounts, Aadhaar, unique identification number, and mobile. Coming to Cuba and Dominican Republic, I would like to mention that Cuba brought mobile-based internet service in late 2018. Since then, the growth in IT sector has taken an interesting turn. Its mobile user base had grown to over 6 million subscribers, 70% of whom are smartphone users, and this number is continuously increasing. There is fair participation from Cuban delegates in tomorrow's India LAC IT Connect program that focuses mainly on Cuba and Dominican Republic. This shows the affinity of IT professionals towards new technology and the motivation to bring about a change in the IT scene in Cuba. The Dominican Republic is one of the fastest growing economies in the region. Recently, its government has shown interest to facilitate the establishment of its own Silicon Valley. If I were to ask what are the basic interest areas of Dominican Republic, I would say cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, edutech, and IT, BPO industry. Indian professionals have been coming to DR for consultancy jobs, and a few companies already have presence here. During the pandemic, the Dominican Republic government has provided tablets to students across the country to improve education. This is an area where technology has transformed the education sector. The pen, paper, and chalk-talk teaching mode has been replaced. E-learning and e-assessment have become a norm. EdTech companies in India have seized the opportunity to bring schools to the digital platforms. I have learned that India Soft 2021 Expo, many Indian companies are displaying their strengths in various verticals of IT, including edutech, artificial intelligence, IoT, robotics process automation, cyber security, etc. I would like our industry friends from the region to partner with Indian participants for creating growth synergies. My best wishes for your personal well-being and the continued prosperity for the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for those encouraging remarks. We are all very keen to partner. I would only like to, as you rightly pointed out, the size of Indian market allows us to do many things which we can share the benefit with others. I was in Israel, I was visiting Israel just before the COVID started. And Israel, as you know, is known as a startup country, done exceedingly well in many areas in the world. And one common friend wanted me to listen to the presentation of a startup, which I did. And at the end of it, I asked this young startup, what has been your experience in Israel on this solution? And he replied, he said, actually, we have not actually released this solution in Israel. Israel is too small a market. So we are going to actually launch our solution in India, in the city of Pune. So I think, as you rightly said, the numbers many times, the economics work much better. And we are very keen to share our expertise in edutech, in telemedicine, in e-health, in agrotech related applications, which are very common in terms of our two nations between India and Latin America. And there's a need to work together. Another area which Indian IT has actually added a new dimension to what the Western world was doing. And this happened at IndiaSoft. At IndiaSoft, many companies from US or UK would come and try to sell solutions to the emerging markets, to the less developed countries. And then they realize the customers in these less developed countries are very price conscious. They don't want too many features, but they want a much affordable product and a solution. And so they started asking Indian companies to customize their products so that their products become more affordable by the developing world. So what we are known for frugal innovation and frugal customization. And I'm sure once we join hands with the small and mid-sized companies in Latin America, we could provide good solutions, which would be a win-win for both. Thank you, ma'am, for your very useful inputs, and we'll work on them. We had huge reservations, every year, 20 years, we've been doing this show physically, and it has been growing every year, and we were not sure how it would be in a digital format. But I'm so happy to share with you that normally we had about 500-600 foreign business delegates. We have already crossed 4,000 in this particular show, and still growing. We have 2 more days to go.
Very good.
Thank you so much. I would now request Mr. Suresh Kumar. Mr. Suresh Kumar is our Joint Secretary in the Department of Commerce, looking after Latin America and several other things. He has been associated with a very successful government program, a government platform in IT called Government E-Marketplace, GEMS, as an additional CEO earlier. I had the privilege of working with GEMS as the chair of a committee of Confederation of Indian Industry. And so it's one of the success stories of computerization in government procurement. And I have great pleasure in requesting Mr. Suresh Kumar to kindly share his views. Over to you, Mr. Suresh Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Naveen Kohli. A very good morning to all my friends and colleagues in the Indian missions in the Latin American region. His Excellency Mr. Sanjeev Ranjan, His Excellency Mr. Subbarayudu sir, Her Excellency Madhu Sethi, and all the other dignitaries and panelists who have joined from the Latin American region. Ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar from India. My warm greetings to you all. I'm glad to be part of this special session of India Latin America IT Connect on IT opportunities in the Latin American region, organized by IndiaSoft. Let me congratulate Electronics and Software Export Promotion Council for holding the 21st session of this annual flagship program. IndiaSoft has indeed come a long way. The fact that 20 consecutive editions of the show have been held successfully bears the testimony to its popularity. Mr. Naveen Kohli has rightly mentioned that, everybody was looking forward for this event this year, And because of the COVID pandemic, there were some doubts, but I'm happy to note that ESC has adopted the digital platform for this event in the face of the adversities. I have been told that already a large number of delegates have visited the virtual exhibition, much more than that would have happened had the event been held in a physical format. I'm sure that the digital platform will facilitate better reach and bring more business. Compliments also for choosing Latin America as the focus region for this year's event. My friends from the Latin American regions have already mentioned about the great opportunities provided by the countries in the Latin American region. I thank the ambassadors for already highlighting the potential in these countries. India shares deep historical ties with several Latin American countries and also have large Indian diaspora in some of them. That apart, Government of India has been keen to broad-base our relations with countries in this region. There are various agreements between India and Latin American countries to widen the relation, including the PTA with Mercosur and Chile. And as was mentioned by my colleagues, that we are already in negotiation with several countries and exploring trade agreements with other countries also. In the last few decades, trade has grown manifold and bilateral investment also has increased. But we still have a long way to go. With two-way commerce hovering around 40 billion mark, current trade is far from the potential. A study by the Exim Bank of India and the Inter-American Development Bank in 2019 has estimated that in medium term, LAC exports to India may grow by 42%, while the Indian exports to the region may grow by 46%. Coming to the IT sector, India's software industry is a true reflection of India's growth story. Just as India is poised to be the fastest growing large economy, our software industry is growing by leaps and bounds. Today, Indian engineers and innovators are providing solutions to meet all kinds of IT requirements across geographies and across sectors. Many Indian IT companies have their presence in this region as well. TCS, Tech Mahindra, and Wipro to name a few. Indian IT companies also operate in several sectors, several verticals across the industry, including telecom, agriculture, consumer goods. Let me also share with you that India is also digitizing fast and is a front runner in the ongoing digital revolution. It's estimated that Indian digital economy will reach $1 trillion by 2025. Government of India's ambitious e-governance programs has already been highlighted by some of the speakers. Given the complementarities and similarities between India and many of the Latin American countries, Indian IT companies are most suited to provide solutions that serve the needs of the region. I'm quite hopeful that this session will help ignite renewed interest among Latin American and Indian entrepreneurs to examine the prospects of new opportunities and cooperation. To our friends from Latin American countries, I would like to emphasize that India today offers a highly conducive environment for business. We have been continuously improving in the Ease of Doing Business Index as well as the Global Innovation Index. Information technology plays a vital role in the economic growth. Technological innovation could create more and better jobs in the coming years for both skilled and unskilled workers. I would like to quote George Familiar, World Bank Vice President for Latin American and Caribbean region, when he said, "We should adopt and promote technology and innovation to boost economic growth, poverty reduction, and increase opportunities for all, rather than creating barriers." The fact that Latin American and Caribbean region has lower rates of digital technology adoption than similar countries in the OECD group provides a great space to increase the IT expansion in this region. To our Indian entrepreneurs, my advice would be to keep in mind that Latin America is not just one nation. Rather, you would be dealing with countries which have many similarities, but also have wide variations in their socio-economic setups. But making a solid base in one country can help you leave your footprints in the other countries also. So it is actually a win-win game for both the sides. With these words, I once again extend my best wishes to all of you and hope today's event and Expo will pave way for many new partnerships between Indian IT companies and Latin American region. I also take this opportunity to thank Mr. Naveen Kohli for actually keeping the flag high over these years and pursuing with various ministries, various sectors to ensure that the IT partnership between India and various regions are always kept alive. I also take this opportunity to thank all my friends from the Latin American region. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Suresh Kumar, for your very encouraging words. I want to also point out to another growth area in India. Over the last few years, our government, our Prime Minister gave a major push to startups. And we are now the third largest startup nation in the world. And I also want to correct this impression that we are just trying to sell our software and IT services because we have many large IT companies from different parts of the world selling in the Indian market. We have Microsoft, we have IBM, we have Google, we have all of them. And we welcome companies from Latin America who may have a solution for the Indian market to come and partner with our companies and make it a two-way partnership, not just as a one-way partnership. And we realized, although we started this show for Indian IT industry getting connected with buyers all over the world, but then we realized this is the largest SME show in IT anywhere in the world today. And so we want this to be a platform. If you are a SME company in IT, you would find business here, not only for development, sourcing, but also for selling in various parts of the world. So we have created, we are moving towards what we call Global Soft from India Soft. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite companies from Latin America to come and work together with Indian companies, not only for sourcing, co-development, but also for selling to third countries and using this as a platform for doing business in IT generally. So I'm happy now. The next speaker we have is from the field of innovation. We have Mr. Carlos Isaacs. Mr. Isaacs is currently director of the Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the University in Chile. And we are so happy that we have someone talking. Innovation doesn't require scale. Innovation doesn't see any geography. It can happen anywhere and it can benefit the whole world. So I welcome Mr. Carlos Isaacs to share his views. I chair a committee on entrepreneurship and startups in one of the largest Indian industry association, the Confederation of Indian Industry. I'm so happy we have a speaker from that particular domain. Over to you, Mr. Isaacs. We're looking forward to your views.
I'm in mute. Sorry. Hello, Mr. Nadim. Good morning, everyone. The authorities from the ESC and all over the India. I want to talk about a little about Chile. As you say about Israel, in Chile is very similar because we have a small population. We are not a big country, only 19 million people, but we have the highest GDP in the region, $25,000 per capita. And one of the things that is happening now in our country is that in the end of April, our country will be vaccinated in the half of the population. In 1 more month, half of the population, adult population, will be vaccinated from COVID-19. This is a huge, advantage our country have in working together, society and government. One of the things that people do not know is our country have a huge astronomy potential. For example, in 2-3 years more, we will have the 70% of all the observation capacity of the entire planet. What does this mean? This means big data, astroinformatics. Chile will be the largest astronomical observation in the world, 70% of the whole world. In minery, we have a huge minery companies, and in 7 years, the 100% of our minery, we are the biggest copper producers, will be in automation and teleoperation. In the retail industry, we have two of the biggest retail industry in the region. One of them is Falabella. It's $12 billion revenue company. And this Falabella company create a company in India. And all the e-commerce from the Falabella, one of the biggest retail in Latin America, 12 billion, is developed in India. But like you say, matching people from India and from Chile. It's not a process of providing IT. It's putting Chilean companies with Indians in India to develop all the e-commerce of this platform. I think there's a huge opportunity for Chilean companies to put subsidiaries in India, to join, to match together, to confront this challenge. In this Falabella company have a program in India named Startup Connect. Startup Connect is a program for the Indians, small, medium enterprises, to join Falabella to develop software solution for the retail industry. There's a huge opportunity there because Falabella is a huge retailer in Latin America. In Chile, the e-commerce shipping grow as far as 300% in some regions in last year. The people who buy online in Chile is 74%. And we have the highest per person in electronic commerce consumption, $300 per capita. Then Chile is not a market by itself, but is a market to go for new markets like in other countries of Latin America or United States. And in Chile, 99% of the large companies have access to internet, and 91% of the small medium enterprise. We are very well connected country. We have the skills because we have good quality universities. For example, Pontificia Universidad Católica is the #1 university in Latin America, and our plateau of students is reaching a plateau. For example, 60% of the students in the university study by free. Then we don't have more people to study. We need more people to develop the software. In Chile, we have a shortage of 5,000 programmers. We have a shortage of 5,000 programmers. Yeah. What we are looking for? Full stack programmers. Okay. And in these large companies, they use ERP systems. 77% of the companies use ERP system, but the small medium companies, only 22% use ERP systems. What we are looking for now? We are looking for big data analysis, okay? And we are looking for joint ventures that allow us to have software, but smart software. What does it mean? For example, in universities, we need not only platform for teaching, we need teachers training. We need the digital platform, but we need new teaching experience, didactics, evaluation systems, mentorships at distance, strategic alliance with tech partners, universities matching tech partners to provide in a joint venture the education process. Okay, this is what I mean for smart programming. Okay, not only the coding, but the smartness inside the coding. This is the opportunity in Chile today for the Indian companies. Match Chileans, Indians to provide these smart solutions. But we have some difficulties. The English in Chile is not so good. No more than 20% of the population speaking English. There's a time delay, you know. The design is very important. We need to match companies and companies with design to make and provide the solutions. I think we can have something like gatekeepers. How can we build some kind of gatekeepers to connect Indian companies, Chilean companies, okay? In education, I think is a big opportunity. In Chile, we have for these issues, we have an ecosystem named Araucanía Digital. More than 60 companies that join together to provide solutions, but to teach themselves. I think Chile and India will have a great opportunity to match this Araucanía Digital to provide solution not for Chile, but for the world from Chile, a well-educated country, a well-connected country, a country that is growing, and India with its huge potential. I think we can match together to build solutions not only from providers, but from joint ventures, Chilean and Indian companies. That's what I want to say to all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we have the next speaker, Mr. Gonzalo Landeta Rodriguez. He will speak in Spanish and he will have an interpreter. He is the president of Bolivian Chamber of Information Technology. We are very happy to have a person who represents the IT chamber. And over to you, Mr. Rodriguez. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Colley. My regards to Mr. Mandarapu from Peruvian Embassy. I'm going to speak in Spanish because I feel more comfortable to speak in Spanish, and I invited to you to speak Spanish too, because we are in Latin America and our language is Spanish. Then maybe in the future we could have a better understanding speaking in English and Spanish. Please forgive me, but I'm going to speak in Spanish. Thank you very much. And my greetings for Mr. Mandaraco again, and for you, Mr. Colley, and for everybody that is in this conference. I'm going to talk about your invitation to sign an agreement for work together with the CBTI. India Soft 2021 is for us an opportunity. And in this memorandum of understanding, I think there are a list of objectives, of goals that we want to agree. Voy a continuar mi presentación entonces en español. Espero que todos me entiendan. Se me pega el inglés, pero la verdad me siento mucho más cómodo hablando en español. En primer lugar, la agenda de la invitación es para celebrar la firma del memorándum de entendimiento entre ISC y CBTI. Dado que compartimos la visión sobre la transformación digital, la Cámara viene recorriendo ya hace varios años el ingreso y la globalización de sus actividades. Creo que tenemos un potencial bastante interesante. Tenemos bastante experiencia en relaciones internacionales. Formamos parte del Grupo Iberoamericano de, si quieren, coordinación del desarrollo de tecnologías. Hemos tenido la oportunidad también de estar en la India hace varios años, mirando su potencial de producción. Armar una alianza hoy en día creo que es muy importante. Entonces, al compartir esta visión de transformación digital, creo que podemos llegar a desarrollar juntos, ¿no? Entre las alianzas estratégicas que nosotros consideramos importantes y que están formando parte del acuerdo del memorándum de entendimiento, está el tema de la transferencia de conocimiento y el potenciamiento del talento productivo. Creo que hacemos mucho hincapié en esto porque entendemos que en Bolivia el talento en este momento puede ser mucho mejor utilizado y en un acuerdo de esta naturaleza creo que podemos progresar de un modo muy interesante. Por supuesto que como todos los países, recién escuchaba a Carlos comentar sobre las posibilidades y potenciales de Chile en estas alianzas. Creo que el acceso a mercados globales para el intercambio comercial es muy importante y, por supuesto, estamos focalizando nuestras intenciones en priorizar Big Data, inteligencia artificial y construir un knowledge base o knowledge base para todos, de modo que podamos tener un punto de común y de convergencia para todo lo que va a ser el desarrollo de la transformación digital, yo diría. Queremos priorizar algo que es muy importante para nosotros, lo aprendimos a lo largo de estos años trabajando en estas interrelaciones entre países, y creo que en Bolivia estamos focalizados en este momento, y sería bueno empezar por este punto, definir un marco de una ley de promoción de la economía del conocimiento, donde estos temas queden totalmente formalizados, ¿no? Algo que debemos consensuar entre gobierno, organizaciones privadas y públicas y centros de desarrollo del conocimiento aplicado, con articulación de instituciones sin fines de lucro, como por ejemplo la Cámara Boliviana de Tecnologías de la Información. Hago hincapié en los centros de desarrollo del conocimiento aplicado, porque creo que nuestro talento debe progresar por ese lado.
So I will translate what you're saying, Mr. Landaita. What we are saying is that we share the vision of digital transformation and strategic alliances to transfer knowledge and enhance the productive talent, access to global markets for commercial exchange, and prioritize big data, EA, and knowledge base. Everything within the promotion law of economics of knowledge between the government, private and public organizations, and knowledge development centers, along with non-profit institutions.
Gracias, Lourdes. Como decía, los proyectos basados en el desarrollo del talento para la producción de soluciones globales sería uno de los focos de nuestra visión.
One of our focus is projects based on development of talent to produce global solutions.
El tema de Big Data, el tema de inteligencia artificial y el tema de knowledge base, porque podemos articular estos contenidos con gobierno, salud, educación y que participe la sociedad de la transformación, ¿no? Estamos necesitando hacer esas transformaciones que creo que no solamente son útiles para Bolivia, sino en forma global.
We can articulate big data, artificial intelligence, knowledge base with the government, the health institutions, the education institutions, and with the participation of the society in general.
Por ejemplo, en nuestra visión de talento, infraestructura y cooperación en la que vamos a focalizar nuestra alianza, estaría en algo que se torna urgente en estos momentos en Latinoamérica, que es la construcción de proyectos de bien público regional.
So in considering talent, infrastructure, and cooperation, we are thinking to build BPR projects.
Concretar nuestro Internet potente, estamos en ese proceso.
We are also in the process of set up powerful internet.
Y por experiencia creo que es el momento de fomentar los clústeres bolivianos indios y los polos de desarrollo tecnológico, de modo que podamos incrementar las actividades de tecnologías basadas en una economía del conocimiento.
And also to encourage clusters, Bolivian and Indian clusters and poles of knowledge.
Otro punto en el que estamos focalizando nuestro esfuerzo en las políticas públicas, permitiendo que se nos gestione encuentros de trabajo, donde con un aliado y una alianza como la que vamos a hacer con ISC podría llegarse a concretar encuentros de trabajo con gobierno, instituciones y empresas de software y academia, ¿no?
Regarding political policies, we are also working on the management of working meetings with other organizations.
El financiamiento de proyectos que son maduros y que necesitan ahora, digamos, entrar y empezar a desenvolverse en ligas mayores. El financiamiento de proyectos que a lo mejor llevan varios años ya de experiencia y que pueden ser también bien acogidos en la comunidad global, ¿no?
And also to finance major projects that can be well received in the global community.
Y finalmente, creo que es esencial y la Cámara Boliviana de Tecnologías de la Información está trabajando en esto hace mucho tiempo. Estamos en un momento de transición en Bolivia, pero creo que ya es tiempo de generar ese marco jurídico para exportar y ver cómo se van a delinear en todo caso las fronteras para la exportación y la importación de conocimiento.
And also we're also working on a legal framework to export.
Entonces, celebrar nuevamente el acuerdo con ISC, la Cámara Boliviana de Tecnologías de Información, y participar como bolivianos de este encuentro que va a permitir, estoy seguro, obtener resultados en el mediano y largo plazo.
So we celebrate the agreement between CBTI and ESC that will help us to keep forming alliances in the long term.
Thank you very much. That's all.
Gracias. And thank you so much for your input. We now move on to the next speaker, Ms. Karen Fofonca. She heads the operations teams of HCL in Brazil. HCL is one of the larger IT companies in India, and I'm so happy that we have a Brazilian who's heading the team of HCL in Brazil, and we look forward to hearing from you, Ms. Karen. Over to you. Is Ms. Karen there? In the meantime, then I will like to move.
I think that
you are
now,
there?
yeah. Yes,
All
yes,
right.
sorry.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes. Okay, thanks for the introduction. And I would like to say thanks and congrats the CCIB about this event. And for us, it's a pleasure to be in front of this opportunity to talk a little about Brazil. And talking in the name of HCL that has been present in Brazil for the last 12 years. Well, we couldn't start to talk without mentioning the current scenario that we are facing. And despite the major challenges imposed on the global economies in 2020 because the pandemic severity and by the new coronavirus, it is perceived for 2031 a growth movement in our economies impacted across the globe, including it is not different for Brazil also. Okay, and Brazil that we can not mention about even living a serious moment, being the epicenter of the pandemic and the fragility of the lower income of population and the impact of the small business. The risk for Brazil economy are now at this moment lower than in the other moments in the past, because in the last 20 years we are investing a lot of in institution and trying to accumulate international reserves, and as an international outlook relative, it's favorable for Brazil at this moment. This set of factors allow to a central movement to continue economy recovery in 2021. We are investing, we are focused at this moment in trying to spread across the country the vaccination, and now the federal government are investing so huge, and some Indian companies also are good partners on this process, and we hope to have the priority groups vaccinate until end of July, and the other part of population across the second semester. Well, in parallel of this, we are investing a lot to recover our economy, and the plans for 2021 are so good in terms of our inflation. It's over control, and a moderation and interest rates, and also promoting some change as tax reforms and investing in structural sectors, actions for the countries, as trying to invest in recover the jobs and the sector that were directly impacted by the pandemic. Those investments and our IT market, that was a segment that's still growing in 2020. We have good perspective in terms of growth in 2021. The IDC Brazil, that it's a leader, leader in the market intelligence and consulting services for IT and communication, and they are responsible by the IDC predictions report. They are signalizing for us that the internal market, okay, for IT in Brazil, ICT in Brazil, it's trying to grow around 7%, focus in IT, and 2% in communication. And if we go to the corporate environment, including software and hardware, the expectation is around 10%. Brazil, despite the problems that we are facing, is still being a largest country, a largest economy in Latin America, and also ICT. It's from Brazil, it's the largest in Latin America. We are considering the 10th largest country across the world. And is still being a good land for investment by our culture, mixed economy, and the painful research that we have here, mainly in ICT. The largest companies in IT are based today in Brazil, and considering Brazil as a hub for Latam, and big players like SAP that has their Latam lab based in Brazil, Indian companies like Wipro, TCS, HCL, identify Brazil as a potential opportunity in terms of market across Latam. Brazil, despite being the unique country in Latam with Portuguese language, has a large number of students or professional speaking English, speaking Spanish, and by the south of Brazil, received in the past, in terms of immigrations, Germans and Italy, we have a facility to have providing Germany speakers for any sectors that we are investing. Also, in Brazil, we today have more than 2,400 federal, state, and private universities. And of that, and beside this, more 6 million of professional education, students coming from professional educations, mainly in technology. And from this scenario, more than 225,000 people being prepared for ICT market in more than 1,700 ICT related courses. This scenario, this investment create a good landscape for a perfect landscape to have here the investment on the IT sector. Today, the companies here in Brazil are investing, focusing security, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, public cloud, and modernization and management systems for the customer experience. These areas inside the ICT create a huge opportunity in front of sectors as finance and banks that invested a lot in 2020 and is still investing based in the necessity to keep the most part of their teams working from home and to connect the customer of them in a safe environment. And the investment in security and clouding last year and still in 2021 will be very high. That create a good opportunity for ICT companies here and with huge experience in those sectors. Besides the investments that the Brazilian governments are doing in IoT and blockchain solutions, and for this creating opportunities for companies to be installed or create this new environment of transformation for the digital world, it comes to us as good moment for the IT companies to be based here. And there is other important aspect, and I consider relevant investment that Brazil did to promote the technological development of the country, is that beside the universities or sometimes inside the university campus, many tech parks born. Today, we have a lot of those tech parks incentivated, not only the growth company as startups, but consolidated companies or big partners, global big partners, giants in technology of information to be installed there. This ecosystem mixing academy and the companies approximate the right response for the market needs in terms of technologies, because the number of people with specialized that are offered for the market in IT, it's excellent. In the south of Brazil, in the south, in the north, across Brazil, all these tech parks are a good environment and to receive new companies and to develop this transformation and innovation for the digital world. And Brazil is investing a lot on this. That happens also to reduce the labor cost that by the students that are starting in the academy or the talents from the academies that comes, and it creates a good and competitive environment for Brazil in terms of ICT. It is an overview about our countries and the opportunities that we are facing for this new year, despite all the challenges that we are facing globally. We understood here that those challenges help us to look for the future and invest more to create this good environment. Many companies across the globe, including Indian companies, are invited to invest and to know this good space, good environment that we are providing here for the development of technologies. Appreciate the time to talk a little and open to another opportunity to be in touch with someone who would like to know a little more about Brazil and the opportunities that we have here. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Karen. Thank you so much for telling us about the opportunities in Brazil. I'm sure many of our Indian companies would be interested, and we look forward to continuing this dialogue offline. And I now come to our last speaker for the day, Mr. Christian Salamanca. Mr. Christian Salamanca Garcia is the Executive Director of Colombia India Chamber of Commerce and co-founder of the Friends of India Association. He certainly knows more about both the countries than most of us, and so we are really happy that he's here with us. I could not meet him on my brief visit to Colombia, I think, because of the timing. So I'm so happy that you are able to join us here, Mr. Salamanca, and please share your views with us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ESC and Mr. Goodmeet, for this invitation. Thank you, Your Excellencies and special guests, for joining us today. I hope I'm not revealing a secret. I see many things in India, especially the capacity to innovate. Some call it jugaad, and some prefer to call it frugal. But for me, it is a cultural characteristic that has, with time, become a professional asset. And adding to this, the Indian IT industry has been heir to the millenary tradition of yoga, because yoga is the connection of mind, body, and environment, the same way the IT industry does, creating intangible products from the mind, that is an intellectual work, for the tangible world. So I believe India Soft is a great platform to meet and to understand the Indian IT industry, which is growing rapidly. And under the current circumstances, is a sector that will grow very fast due to all these restrictions and the need of communication and the need of finding solutions for the different sectors. In the previous years, many Colombian companies have benefited from this exchange in IndiaSoft, not only through us, but also through FedeSoft, the other agency in charge of promoting this sector in Colombia. Many of the Colombian companies have attended the shows in India, and they are really, really amazed by the kind of work and professionalism shown by Indian companies. Unfortunately, this time we miss it. I believe technology has helped us, but also the touch and the shaking hands is something that we are missing this time a lot. I would like to share with you that the Colombian government has a strategic policy to promote the ITES sector, and it's called the Orange Economy. Colombia is also a host of one of the chapters of the 4-point Industrial Revolution Centers, which is also located in the city of Mumbai in India. We believe there is a space for strategic partnerships, exchange of information, and collaborations. India has taken the lead in many sectors, and technology is the arrowhead of that leading that India is having in the world. So why not working closer together? What is stopping us of doing it? The information technology and creative industry sector in Colombia is characterized by having one of the largest workforces in the region, as well as being highly qualified. Colombia in the last years has been ranked as the 3rd country in the service sector and has positioned itself as the 4th largest IT market in Latin America. The country represents 13% of the BPO sales in the region and is among the top markets in the regions in terms of sales, surpassing other countries of the same region. There is a solid network of accelerators, incubators, investment funds, and technology parks that complement the initiatives and contribute to the strengthening of the innovative business fabric of the country. A few weeks ago, also, the Ministry of Commerce of Colombia delivered a decree mentioning that the special free trade zones will have a special conditions for IT investment and IT companies in our country. So this is such an opportunity to be in the last, but not the least, and I'm trying to be fast because I know time is important. I believe that we need to exchange more information, make technology and training available for the professionals, as Colombia in this regard is behind. We need to train more people. The market conditions has been growing very fast, but the professionals, the percentage of professionals is backward. This is also something I heard of from my colleagues in Bolivia and Chile, that training is very important, and I believe India has provided a lot of scholarships, but there is a scope for improvement. We also need to learn more about the startup ecosystem from India, which is amazing. Is a ecosystem that is growing, is an example to the world. We need to provide exchange of experiences. Other fields like blockchain, big data, artificial intelligence, and many others are ready to explore and ready to work between the Colombian companies and Indian companies. With all these words, I would like to say thank you, and I would like to wish all the best to the participants in IndiaSoft 2021, and I hope you can have a good experience during these 2 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think we need to get used to meeting digitally. And so therefore, I would once again invite all our friends in Latin American countries that we still have 2 more days of the exhibition. Please take out time and go and see what these participants, the exhibitors are offering. Many of the solutions can be customized and used. And I'm sure through these industry associations and through our Indian missions, we can facilitate the process of finding a partner. ESC is always there to do that. That's what we see as our main role. I would thank all the participants for being with us. And I would also request our Executive Director, Mr. Gurmeet Singh, to propose a formal vote of thanks. And a very special thanks to our ambassadors who are here, from three of them. Mr. Gurmeet Singh, please propose a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished dignitaries, learned members of the panel, delegates, and friends. As James Allen quotes, no duty is more important than that of returning thanks. I have great pleasure in proposing a hearty vote of thanks to all the dignitaries and distinguished speakers who joined us today. I would like to thank Mr. Suresh Kumar, our Joint Secretary in the Department of Commerce, Government of India. Sir, your views of trade with Latin America has indeed been of great help to all of us. I'm sure under your guidance and support, our industry members will be able to seal new business partnerships with their counterparts in the Latin American region. My heartfelt thanks to His Excellency Mr. Sanjeev Ranjan, our ambassador to Colombia and Ecuador. Thank you very much, sir, for making it convenient to join us today and sharing your valuable thoughts. Your words have come as a source of inspiration for all of us. Our exhibitors, member exporters who are with us today would look forward to your guidance and support once they go about establishing partnerships with enterprises in Colombia and other Latin American markets over the India IT Connect over virtual platform. Sincere thanks to Excellency Mr. M. Subaraidu, Indian Ambassador to Peru and Bolivia. Sir, thank you very much for sparing your valuable time and sharing your thoughts with us. Your address was highly insightful and reflected your deep understanding of the Latin American economies, particularly Peru. Our engagement is growing in Peru under your leadership, and I must thanks to the support from your team, particularly Mr. Sanjeev Tandon, for our growing synergies and engagements with our mission in Peru. Let me also thank His Excellency Ms. Madhu Sethi, our Ambassador of India to Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Haiti. Ma'am, your words were highly encouraging and gave deep insight with intricacies of Latin American economies. We are also grateful to you for all the support for today's event, but also for a large participation from Cuba and Dominican Republic, which encouraged us actually to organize an exclusive session with you tomorrow. And we are excited for another interaction with you tomorrow, same time. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks are due to Mr. Carlos Isaac, Director, Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, University of La Frontera, Chile. I'm sure our entrepreneur friends must have gained some useful information, the Latin American business environment, thanks to Mr. Patricio for introducing Mr. Carlos and all the support to IndiaSoft from Chile. Sincere thanks to Mr. Gonzalo Rodriguez, President of the Bolivian Chamber of Information Technology, CBTI. Sir, thank you very much for sharing with us words of wisdom acquired by you during your 4-decade-long association with the IT industry. Let me also thank you and all members of CBTI for entering into MOU with ESC, and I'm sure this will result in furthering our trade and cooperation between Indian and Bolivian companies, and we are excited about it. My sincere thanks to Karen Fonfonca, Head of Operations at HCL Brazil. Thank you very much for sharing with us your reading of possibilities for cooperation between India and Brazil, as well as other Latin American nations in the field of IT. We look forward to your help in forging new alliances between entrepreneurs from two countries and two nations. My sincere thanks to Mr. Christian Salamanca, Executive Director, Colombia Indian Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Salamanca is a close friend of India, and we feel privileged for his association with IndiaSoft, with ESC, and with me personally. Thank you very much for your words, Dr. Salamanca, that have been highly informative. I would also like to thank colleagues from Indian embassies in various countries, especially those in Colombia, Peru, and Cuba, for the crucial support provided by them in making today's event a great success. Let me also formally thank our mentor, our visionary leader, Mr. Nalin Kohli, Chairman IndiaSoft, and past Chairman of the Council. Mr. Kohli has been the guiding journey of Mission IndiaSoft. Perhaps it is a result of his relentless efforts that we have covered such a long distance. Mr. Kohli actually conceived IndiaSoft 20 years back when we started the event with just 30 exhibitors from India and 120 business delegates participation, and here we are, 21st edition, 150 exhibitors, and over 4,000 delegates from 65 plus countries. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Team IndiaSoft, our sincere thanks and gratitude to Mr. Kohli for his efforts that IndiaSoft has reached where it is today. Finally, I must thank all the distinguished delegates, exhibitors, and guests who have joined today's session. My special thanks to delegates from Latin American nations who have gathered today from all across the Latin American region. Before I conclude, I would like to extend a very warm invitation to you to visit 21st edition of Virtual IndiaSoft 2021, which is live now over virtual platform until 31st March 2021. You will find very innovative and competitive Indian companies as exhibiting new and innovative IT products and services and looking for business partnerships at a highly competitive cost. Here, as you can see on the screen, we have a URL for the event. It's www.indiasoft.org. And by going on this event's website, you will find a link to the virtual expo as arrow is being indicated. By clicking on this link, it will take you to the virtual platform, which is indiasoft.wowfairs.com. And simply by putting up your email as your user login, and you can choose any 4-digit or a 5-digit password of your choice, and that's all. You can just simply instantly enter into the exhibition lobby, exhibition hall. Here is the exhibition lobby, and here you will find two sections on the exhibition and the conference halls. You can enter the exhibition area, and here you will find very innovative, almost 150 plus companies providing a very innovative products and solutions in the different verticals of IT. You can pick up a card, you can pick up a brochure, you can see a video, you can chat online with the participant, and start networking, start doing business right away over the virtual platform. So I once again invite you all to make use of this opportunity. And in case you have any issues, you are most welcome to reach us. And we look forward to welcome you and connect with you virtually over this virtual platform, 21st edition of indiasoft.org. And it's a really satisfying and experience this year that we have already, as Mr. Chairman already pointed out, we already crossed 4,000 buyers joining the companies all across the globe, from North America, Latin America, and across the world. So I invite you not to be missed opportunity and just find a right partner by joining us anytime, 24 hours. It is 24 hours by 7. And once again, your very warm invite for you. Please join us. And until then, thank you so much again for joining us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. See you at the exhibition.
Very much, Mr. Gourmet Singh, for your opportunity of participation at the video conference.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gumiji.
Thank you, Ji. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Carlos, for your presentation. Bye, Gonzalo. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
And thank you very much for everything. Our regards for all of
Silvia
you.
Dolores.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you in the future.
Bye, bye, Mr. Alejandro Piovacari. Juan, the Chilean delegate present in the India Soft meeting. Bye bye, Mr. Neto Figueredo. Bye bye, Gourmet.